The Sith Empire is ready to attack. The Republic is blind to the danger. The beginning of the Great Hyperspace Wars is near. This is the full story of Star Wars, Tales of the Jedi, the fall of the Sith Empire, the war that ended the First Age of Darkness, and set the stage for the Sith Wars of the Old Republic. The Starbreaker 12 shudders through the chaos of hyperspace. Jori Daragon fights to keep control as her ship tears across a dangerous shortcut home. One far longer and far deadlier than any navigator would dare attempt. Suddenly, collision alarms, vectors screaming, shields flaring. A massive ship nearly slams into her hull. Jori demands emergency clearance from Sinagar Control, but instead of help, she's treated like a criminal. Security vessels lock onto her. Weapons power up. When she lands, she is immediately arrested, accused of theft, fraud, illegal departure, destruction of property, and more. But Jori shouts the truth. She has returned from the Sith Empire, and a warning must be delivered. But no one listens. Meanwhile, at the Sith Empire, on Hardelba, laborers repair the damage from Ludo Kresh's failed attack. Naga Sadow, now the Dark Lord of the Sith, surveys his empire with triumphant arrogance. He lavishes Gav Daragon with jewels and praise. He tells the young exile that the Sith Empire is glorious, powerful, and destined to rule. Gav, scarred by a lifetime of poverty, debt, and exploitation in the Republic, wavers. Little does Gav know he is being used as a pawn. Dragged toward prison, Jori escapes long enough to find Arba the Hutt, the being who practically raised her. She begs him to listen, begs him to believe. But Arba is furious. He thinks she's lying again. Worse, the Merchants Guild has already ruled. The Starbreaker 12 now legally belongs to Lord C. Cahor, the merchant whose ship the Daragons accidentally destroyed long ago. Jori loses the ship and her last hope of saving Gav. She is hauled away to a prison colony. On Sinagar, the young Jedi scholar Odan-Urr and his ancient Jedi master Uru meet with Empress Teta. Uru senses darkness rising. Odan-Urr has had visions, faint shadows from an ancient past, warnings that the Republic is vulnerable and something forgotten is returning. But even with the Jedi's growing concern, the Republic Senate remains complacent. On the colony world Ronica, Jori steals a mining shuttle in a reckless, desperate escape. Security ships fire on her, but she barrels towards Sinagar anyway, screaming that she has an urgent warning. Her shuttle disintegrates in the atmosphere, but she survives. Battered and exhausted, she forces her way into the Empress's throne room. At last, someone listens. Empress Teta halts the guards and hears Jori's story. The amulet Gav gave her confirms everything. A Sith invasion is coming. War is inevitable. Teta orders the Seven Worlds to mobilize. Across the galaxy, Naga Sadow summons the Sith Lords and their armies. He reveals a secret. He placed a tracer on the Starbreaker 12. He knows exactly where the Republic is. He places Gav Daragon in command of the main fleet. Another manipulation. Then Sadow retreats into his meditation sphere, using forbidden Sith sorcery to create massive illusions. False fleets, false armies, all fueled by his will. The Sith armada launches, thousands of ships gathering for war. The Sith fleet emerges near Sinagar, but their first target is not the capital. It is the Starbreaker 12 itself, now piloted by Esisk Cahor. The Sith obliterate it. As Gav panics that his sister is killed, Sadow informs him that no human life signs were aboard. Jori was not there. The invasion begins in full. Illusions flood the skies. The The city planet shakes under the weight of thousands of phantom warships. Dropships disgorge real Massassi warriors and Sith troops. The Senate Hall comes under direct attack. Mehmet Nadil, the Jedi advisor to Empress Teta, leads a handful of Jedi in defense. They fight monstrous beasts, Massassi warriors, and terrifying sorcery. The city collapses around them. But then, the illusions begin to flicker. Sadow's concentration is breaking. Why? Because of Gav. A wee ago, during the chaos-consuming Sinagar, Gav Daragon returned to Araba's repair dock, desperate to find his sister. But instead of a reunion, he walked straight into tragedy. Aruba, furious and feeling betrayed, unloaded his anger at Gav the moment he appeared. To the Massassi warriors accompanying Gav, the Hutt's shouting looked like an attack. Acting on instinct, they struck. Before Gav could react, the Massassi killed Araba on the spot. Gav was horrified. He never meant for this to happen. Araba had raised the Daragon siblings after their parents' deaths. He was family. And now, because of Gav's choices, that family was gone. When Jori arrived and found Araba's body, she believed Gav responsible. In that moment, their bond shattered completely. And for Gav, the reality finally hit. Following Naga Sadow hadn't just endangered the Republic, it had destroyed the last person who ever cared for him. As Gav realizes the horror of what he has caused, he returns on Naga Sadow's flagship. Guilt overwhelms him. He confronts Sadow, interrupting the Dark Lord's spellcasting. The illusions collapse across the Republic. Suddenly, the Sith forces are exposed. Across Coruscant, the defenders rally and push the Sith back in a counterstrike. The invasion fails. Meanwhile, the Sith attack Kirek, defended by the rebels of Commander Laban, warriors who once fought Empress Teta during her unification wars. Now, with Jedi Master Uru and Odan-Urr at their side, they fight for the Republic. But the Massassi are relentless. Uru, whose species survives in a cyanogen atmosphere, makes the ultimate sacrifice. He shatters his protective tank, releasing a poisonous cloud that kills the Massassi invaders, but ends his own life. The planet Kirek survives. Meanwhile, Jori reaches Sinagar and flies into orbit, chasing her brother's signal. Gav flees toward Naga Sadow's meditation sphere at the star Remus Golud, a massive, unstable red giant. He confronts Sadow, demanding the Dark Lord end his war, but Sadow escapes, leaving Gav trapped. The star begins to collapse. Jori arrives, but it's too late. Gav, unwilling to doom his sister again, urges her to flee. She watches helplessly as the star erupts, consuming Gav. Sadow limps home with only a handful of ships, but the Sith Empire he abandoned has turned against him. Ludo Kresh, who survived by faking his own death, declares himself the rightful Dark Lord of the Sith. War erupts between the two Sith factions. Their battle is savage. Sadow kills Kresh in a final clash, but his fleet is crippled. As their battle ends, the Republic forces find their way to the Sith Empire, attacking the Sith. Naga Sadow uses the dark side of the Force to its fullest, causing two stars to collapse to each other, faking the destruction of the Sith. He flees into exile, taking refuge on the jungle moon of Yavin 4 with his remaining Massassi followers. Here, he vows to rebuild. Here, the seeds of future darkness are planted. In the Republic, victory celebrations fill Coruscant, but the cost is enormous. Odan-Urr mourns his master, Uru. Mehmet Nadil returns to Empress Teta. Jori inherits Arba the Hutt's repair dock, rebuilding the life she and Gav always wanted. Among the wreckage of Sith ships, Odan-Urr discovers a relic, a mysterious holocron. He dreams of creating a great library of Jedi knowledge. He will build it on Ossus. On a remote jungle moon, Naga Sadow begins shaping temples from the stone itself. He has nothing left. Not an empire, not an armada, not even a title. But he has the dark side, and he has time. Thus ends the Sith War, and begins a long shadow the galaxy will one day face again. And this brings us to the end of Tales of the Jedi, the fall of the Sith Empire. But the ancient history of the galaxy goes far deeper. If you want to explore how all of this began, from the Jedi of Tython to the rise of the first Jedi Order, check out my full Dawn of the Jedi series. And if you're curious about everything that happened between eras, the wars, schisms, and forgotten civilizations that shaped the Republic, don't miss my video on the lost history. And of course, we're continuing the full Tales of the Jedi saga here on the channel. So if you enjoyed this story and want more ancient Star Wars lore told in full detail, make sure to subscribe, hit like, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.